if I gave it all away.
Welcome back, everyone. So I am excited about bringing on my next guest. He's also been on with me a few times now. I have with me Scott Rulon, and he is the owner of Rulon Financial. And you got to tell everybody what you specialize in and what you said to me before we came on the show, what you've decided to do today.
Certainly. So I was inspired by our first guest on the show today. I am a man that has diabetes, and I was inspired today to give a free college financial plan to parents of a diabetic youth.
Awesome. That's so kind of you, because you said that this is a $3,000 value to everyone.
Absolutely. We will do the whole plan for free for them. I'm inspired because I've lived with diabetes for 19 years, and I know what it's like to have to take shots and stuff like that. So I always like to reach out and give back. And you know what? It's the Christmas season. I feel inspired. This is the time to do it.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the lines to the audience for everyone to get entered in to win this. If your child is suffering from type 1 or type 2
Yes.
diabetes, and you're working on needing a college plan for them, he's going to offer everyone to get entered in to win a free plan, and that's a $3,000 value free to you. So our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Will you, before you go into what you did today, will you please tell them what it involves?
So what I really sell is peace of mind to parents and students alike. Many people go into the whole college planning arena not having a clue about what they need to do. I tell most parents it takes between 100 and 200 hours to put together your whole college plan. It is a lot of work finding the right school, finding the right major. And you know what? That one thing that parents worry about all the time, how do we finance college? Because college has reached a point that it's become criminally expensive.
Right. And so what you're offering here is just incredible. And a lot of people don't realize that when they work with you, you say, when you get...
Oh, get Scott at Pace.
Right. And because there's a good reason for it. Talk to him about, what do you want to talk about today?
You know, I would like to talk about a case that I just met with this afternoon. You know, unfortunately in our society, there's a lot of people getting divorced, and they don't know what to do with their kids when it comes to college planning. In fact, this afternoon I was talking to a mother of twins who are both in college right now, and I was telling her how to lower her EFC and plan it so that next year both her daughters pay less tuition.
Right, so that's what it's all about. Either getting through college for nothing.
Yes.
Which you can help them with that.
Right. I always say for almost free.
For almost free, which sounds awesome. And it doesn't matter what kind of college. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so we talk about junior college, and we also talk about senior college, which is the universities. So we call that the 2x2 plan. I always like to talk about a friend of mine who his son was about to go to junior college and he didn't have money. And I said, Gary, have you filled out your FAFSA? And Gary said, what's that? And so we actually filled out a FAFSA for his son and got him a $5,000 Pell Grant. So his son now got to go to college for 2 years for free.
Now, our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. And what Scott's doing today is he's entering anyone who has a child who has, or knows a child who has type 1 or type 2 diabetes, that he will offer them a free, they're going to get entered in to win, not everybody's going to get it, but entered in to win a college plan, and this is a $3,000 value free to you guys out there. So the number is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. And his website is RulonFinancial.com. You do consultations for everybody all the time. You have to talk to them. It's all about first talking.
Yeah, we do consultations all year long, and you know, we actually do meet with everybody for an hour for free, just to assess if they're a good fit for us and we're a good fit for them. Because I would be honest with you, there's some people that are just not a good fit.
Okay.
Those, we let you know right away. We're not going to chase you down. That's not what we're about. But we want to work with students that are serious.
So again, the number to call him, you could check him out on his website. Their website is rulonfinancial.com. His phone number direct at 602-824-2299. And I know it's the holidays, I know this, but just think about it. Can you imagine if you gave one of your kids let's say this, they have type 1 or type 2 diabetes and they've always wanted to go to college, and you parents thought, oh, you can't go because we just can't afford that. Well, here you're going to get this gift from Scott.
Correct. And, really, there's two different types of aid available when it comes to college. There's not only need-based aid, but there's also merit-based aid. So merit-based aid is based on test scores and grades and stuff like that. But need-based aid, guess what? That has nothing to do with test scores. So many people in our society today would actually qualify for some need-based aid.
There's a lot of people out there that would love to go to college that are not, they don't even think about it because they just don't think they can afford it.
Right. And, I like to tell the story of, I was giving a seminar at one of the local high schools, and before the seminar started, I met up with the janitor, and he said, my child didn't get to go to college. I said, why not? I said, tell me. So he let me know how much he made, and I said, did you know that your child would qualify for a Pell Grant, and we could probably pay for their first 2 years of college for free? That opportunity is out there for many people. And so if you make less than $50,000 a year, you could have the ability to get a Pell Grant.
Now, the number to call him direct, it's 602-824-2299. And I'm going to keep my lines open here for the rest of the show for everybody to get entered in the things that we're giving away today. But right now, he is offering for anyone who has a child that has diabetes type 1 or type 2 that gets entered in to win a college plan. And, it starts with just figuring out what you want to do, and we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Right.
It's a $3,000 value free to you. And the number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. We usually do this a lot differently, but I like what we're doing here today because it's a little bit more like college planning understanding 101.
Right. And it's Christmas season, so let's do something good.
And you know what, too? It's Christmas season, and though it's a thing that you need to think about all the time, we've said this before, when should people be thinking about this?
I always tell them they should think about it right after their son or daughter is born and their grades and their test scores. In lieu of that, when's the right time to do it? While you're thinking about it now. So this is the time to make that call and schedule that appointment.
Now, you say that you really want to work with people kids that are obviously serious about going to college.
Yeah, you know what? The other day I had a young man that was sitting there, and I knew he wasn't serious. He was just sitting there scooching around in his chair. He wasn't the right person. And yet later that day I had a young lady who does all kinds of stuff in the community. She did some work down in Mexico because she wants to be a physician eventually. And let me tell you, she was on it.
Right,
she knew it.
Yeah, I bet you. And I think that when parents talk to you and have that consultation with you, I guarantee you that they are pretty excited once they've spoken to you.
Right. And in fact, in her particular case, because her parents were divorced, we did some special planning. And I would guess on the first meeting, we probably saved them over $80,000 over a 4-year period. So,
this is something that I know people don't want to really listen and talk about, but it's so super important because so many people just, they get gypped because they don't realize that they can actually get through almost for free.
Well, absolutely. And so one of the things I tell people, would you want to give all of your stuff to the IRS and have them do your tax return? Yet many of you will go to your local college or to the financial counselors there and do the same thing. You'll lay out your entire financial life in front of them and say, what can you do for me?
I got to tell you one thing. I don't even know, because I put my head in the sand, right? And I just said, go ahead and, do what you got to do. And they got all these loans, and now they're going to follow my kids for the... I wish I told you all the time I talked to you. I wish I knew you before. And I've got two that went to college, and they're following them for the rest of their lives. And that's sad. It's really, truly sad, because you know what? No matter how much money they make, they still got to pay those loans, and they never have enough money. It's they're living week to week, month to month. It's crazy. So you can check them out. It's RulonFinancial.com. Call in here, get entered in to win. This is pretty neat. 602-277-5369. So welcome back, everyone. And we're talking with Scott Rulon, and he is the owner of Rulon Financial. And I know it's the end of the year and the holidays, and it's Friday. Were you on last Friday, too, the time you were on? I don't know. But I know that when it's Friday, I always say to people, these are things that you're here that are important no matter what day it is, right?
Yep. Any day of the week you're starting to think about it, now's the time to make the phone call.
The number to call him direct is 602-824-2299. And we've got our lines open here for everybody that has a child that has diabetes, type 1 or 2, that is going to get entered in to win a free college plan. And that is a $3,000 value free to you. And believe me, when you get Scott, it pays.
Absolutely. One of the things I like to talk about these days, there's kind of a loan epidemic when it comes to college. If you were to look at the National Debt website, you would notice that college debt is now sitting at $1.5 trillion with a T. That's more than all the credit card debt combined in America.
It is probably the number one debt, absolutely, for sure. Right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to also just tell everybody that obviously we're entering everybody into the win this, but
Right.
I want people to understand too that you'll help kids that are going to go to junior college, obviously regular, but also any other kind of trade, any kind of college you will help them with.
Yeah, trade school, the Universal Technical Institute, there's a place called Huntington College. It's up by Arrowhead Mall where they actually do media arts up there. We all know that the internet is big, but you don't have any idea how big it is sometimes.
Right. And now you can call him direct. He does a consultation for everybody. That number is 602-824-2299. And obviously, you want to make sure that your kid is into really going to school, right?
Right. I always want to make sure they're serious about school. So what I like to do, I like to sit down with them. A lot of them have an idea about what they don't want to do, but they don't all have an idea about what they do want to do. So we actually sit down with them and have them take an exercise of different career clusters. I actually have them go through and cross out everything they don't want to do. Because in the end, we'll find a relationship among the things that they didn't cross off, and we'll probably find 3 or 4 majors there. That is really helpful when we start to look at the college. Because as I usually say, you don't go to the University of California at Santa Barbara for a business degree.
Right. And also, we want you to understand, too, that you can help anyone for any college.
Yeah, sometimes we help with graduate school. The interesting thing about graduate school, totally different system. And one of the things that I encourage people that are going to graduate school, find out the school that your child wants to go to and have them start reading some of the white papers that the professors there wrote. Because guess what? The professors are the ones that give out the graduate assistantships, which, by the way, are a great way to pay for graduate school.
Then remember to call him direct. Write it down, because, this is something that you never know when you might need this, right? Because everybody listening might already have a child, but you might have a child right now that you're not so sure. Maybe he's in high school and he's like my kid did that, where they were like, I thought for sure there was no way there was anything going to happen, and all of a sudden, just out of the blue, out of maybe even it was almost her second semester in 12th grade,
right,
where she said, you know what, I think I want to be a teacher. And she did go to junior college beforehand.
Right.
And she ended up going then to ASU. And so, yes, it was a little better, but I still know I wish I had you, because we would have saved so much money.
In fact, I come from an entire family of teachers. I'm the one that actually left the profession in a sense. But guess what? I now help them get back so they can be teachers again.
So again, you could call them direct. That number is 602-824-2299. And we've got everyone that's getting entered in to win right now. If your child has type 1 or 2 diabetes, he wants to just enter everybody in to win a free college plan. And that's a $3,000 value for you or anyone you know. 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So it's your radio show right now, okay?
Okay.
Go for it. What would you talk about?
You know, the thing that I always like to talk about, there's a specific formula when it comes to college. When we come to college, we call it the cost of attendance. Now, the cost of attendance is not just tuition. It's books, it's room and board. What if your son or daughter is going to school in Hawaii? Wouldn't you want to go visit them? The chance for transportation. Don't forget that last thing. Not everybody wants to eat the dorm food all the time. They need some extra money for pizza.
They need
or
pizza
something
food.
like that.
They need pencil food. I said pencil food. They need money for pencils and everything because everything costs a ton of money.
Right. And, you know, one of the things I was talking to my son about the other day, he goes to a local college down here, but he couldn't find a certain type of medication because he has allergies. So these days, some of the students learn to order that stuff from Amazon, and Amazon delivers to lockers. So teaching your child some real-world skills, how to have critical thinking,
especially about not necessarily ordering everything off Amazon because they deliver like that, especially. Tell them what you did with your own son.
So my own son is an engineering student in one of the local schools, and so we helped him put together a package where he got the equivalent of 4 scholarships, and his tuition is almost completely paid for the next 4 years.
I sure wish I knew you. Our number to call him is 602-824-2299. Get entered in to win. Of course, if your child has type 1 or type 2 diabetes, this is something he has already deals with himself. He wants to do this. It's a gift of Christmas for him. The number to call here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. What else?
You know, here's one of my favorite stories about college. It was our next door neighbor, and her son Jake went to Marquette. And so we were talking to Cindy, and Jake called in one day and he said, "Mom, these washing machines, they take quarters."
Oh my God! Wait a minute! You need to have quarters everywhere in your car. You need to make sure that they have tons of quarters, because not just with the washing machines.
Right.
Parking.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that we use as stocking stuffers each year, we put rolls of quarters in our son's sock so he can do his laundry.
Awesome. That is a great... I'm so glad you brought that up, because now it brings back some memories. We all have to have them in our car.
Yeah, so you always want to have them have some walking away money. And the greatest thing you can teach your child is kind of some self-reliance, because guess what? Mom and Dad are not always going to be around. So self-reliance starts from day one with your child, you know, teaching them how to do the laundry. My son can actually cook a full meal for everybody, so that's one of the things we did for him growing up.
Don't enable your children.
Don't do too much for them, but help them get along and think for themselves. You know, the process of going to college is really that process of becoming an adult. Because as we all know, some days, you know, the time from being a child to becoming an adult comes so quick, and suddenly you look around and you're an adult, and you want to make sure that your son or daughter has the right skills when they go away from you. Even if they're leaving the state, they still need to know all this stuff.
Absolutely. Again, write this number down. His number direct, it's 602-824-2299. Call in here. If your child has type 1 or type 2 diabetes, or if you know someone that does it, wants to go to college and is serious about it, call in. You're going to get entered in to win a college plan. It's phenomenal. And that's a $3,000 value free to you. 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So some of the different things that we've talked to about in the past that people may not know. Obviously, you said that one of them was that, did you fill out your FAFSA? What would be another one?
You know, most people don't know how college loans work. They have no idea. There's certain loans that parents have to co-sign on and certain ones they don't. So most parents don't want to have to co-sign on their child's college loan because they're really worried in the future that they're going to have to pay them. So let's talk about that. Let's plan early. Let's plan often. And so, as I like to say, a fool with a plan is better than a genius with none.
So what do they come to you with? What do they just say, hey, you know what, my kid's thinking about going to college, and then what? What happens?
I like to bring both the parent and the child in on the first meeting. I mean, most of the meetings are with the parents because we're doing some financial analysis. But I do have a meeting or two with the child just to make sure that they're not snowing me.
Right.
And see what they do. And there's a couple of times when I tell the parents, send your child in there because they need a good kick in the you-know-what to get things going.
Right. And, there's sometimes that you want your child to, everybody wants our children to get a good education, and they
Right.
want our children to go to college. And there's different ways that you can do this with him. There might be that it's junior college. It could be regular college. It could be medical school. It could be anything. Trade school. Doesn't matter.
Trade or technical school. I know in this city there's a great school that teaches people how to do motorcycle mechanics.
Well, I'll tell you something. We've been talking children all day long, and we're still going to do that. But we also want you to know that you don't have to be a child that'll come to you and talk to you.
No.
A lot of people want to go back to school.
Because did you know the average age of the college student has probably gone up by 10 or 15 years? There's a lot of people that want to redirect their career and go into something else. Guess what? We can help them too, because a lot of them, they have to balance their work life with their college life and make sure it all works together.
So right now we're going to leave the lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win. If you have a child with either type 1 or type 2 diabetes, you're getting entered in to win a college plan from him. That's a $3,000 value. The number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. It's RulonFinancial.com.